When it comes to being friends, there's no friends like the friends of Jacomo.
Hey everybody, this is your old buddy Jacomo here, and today I'm going to talk about inspiration. So, for the past couple of videos with me, we've been talking about what I call kissa, and what that is knowledge, inspiration, simplify, and actualization. So in our first video, we talked about what a role-playing game even was. You know, like it's a synthesis of imagination and mechanics. And then we talked about what the value in knowing is. So like things you need to know, like how to play the game and what to expect when you're playing. And so today, I want to talk about the next step of making a character, which really for me is inspiration. So let's get at a think, huh?
Inspiration.
Papa Shango
Noun.
and that lady
The process
from
of
like
being
Legally
mentally
Blonde. They
stimulated
put
to
them together,
do
that'd be
or
kinda
feel
awesome.
something, especially to do something creative.
What if Torgo
You've
had
arrived
sick
on a rather
beefy
brilliant,
arms
special
creative,
night.
or timely
That'd be
It
kinda
is
idea.
one of the
awesome.
masters.
Oh,
The drawing in of
affairs.
breath,
So many possibilities.
inhalation.
So yeah, inspiration comes from a lot of places. Like you can think about lots of different people in your life, like people that you like, people that you don't like, and you can draw a lot of inspiration from that. You can think about movies you watch, books you read, comics you read, professional wrestling programs you watch. You know, everything somewhere that has a people as a character in it is a place that you can draw some kind of inspiration for your role playing game character from. You know, so like, just think about the world around you and think about the people that you have. And, you know, like, what would you want to explore? Like, I had one friend this one time. He knew this guy, and he had like this funky name, and I forget what the name was. I think it was like Fulbrick, and he knew this guy. His name was seriously Fulbrick, and so he's like, one day, man, I'm gonna use your name to be the name of my character in a D&D game, and then he did, and it was epic. It was cool, and you know, it wasn't like based on the guy. Just took his name. But you know, sometimes that's all you need, just like some kind of starting off point. So when it comes to inspiration, the first and easiest place to look is right on your character sheet. So there are games like the Dungeon Crawl Classics and the Merkborg, and to an lesser extent Dungeon World, that have a lot of randomness about them, and that they actually like generate either some personality bits or profession or things like that for your character. So you just look at your sheet and you figure like, so my character was a butcher, and so what kind of a person's a butcher, and then that becomes your character, and that becomes your starting point. And you can like start thinking about, do you want to subvert the expectations, or do you want to live up to the expectations? Do you want to be a trope, or do you want to be like the break in the mold? You know, so like if you think of a stereotypical butcher, you know, that's like kind of a big rough dude who likes chopping meat. You know, so you think he's gonna be a fighter, and he's probably gonna use a cleaver, and he's got a bloody apron and all that jazz. So, but what if it's like a lady butcher, and mm, she's like really into like butchering the meat in an artistic way. Like she thinks that it's a beautiful art, right? And she makes like meat sculptures for rich people. Now that's still a butcher, but now you got something different. Or let's say it's, instead of being this big burly dude, it's like a thin guy, and he's like, he doesn't eat meat, and it's not because he thinks he shouldn't kill animals. It's because he sees what he does with the meat, and he doesn't want that in his body. And so he says, you know, you can eat the meat. I don't want the meat, so there it is for you. Enjoy it, you know, that sort of thing. And so like he's actually very, very conscious about other creatures, you know, and he doesn't like what he does. Maybe he inherited his meat business and he didn't want to do it, you know. And so now he's got all this like angst and anxiety growing inside of him, you know. So all you do is you like look at things like a profession or whatever, and you start wondering, do I want to live up to it? Do I want to subvert it? Do I want to take what a normal person's concept of that profession is, and then just like throw it to the wind, or do I want to like be that? You know, so that's number one. Just trust the system. Look at what you got, and the system gave it to you randomly, so you're gonna live with it. All right. So one of the other places you can find inspiration is just from like the system. Like think about like if you read online about a certain way to build a character. Like let's say it's a guide of how to best build a blaster that sorcerer for a Pathfinder. So now you can kind of like think about what sort of character I can make that will fit that build, you know, and you can actually like build an optimized character that way if you so wish, if that's your thing. But for me personally, I'm not into that too much. But it is a valid place to find some sort of inspiration. Like, just think about it. Like, you know, like if you look at a specific kind of character build, it's probably gonna like bring about a rise up from a certain sort of person. You know. So that's always a possibility. I mean, it gives you a reason to have like a half-blooded, 3 times quarter 9/8 dragon orc warlord that is also a like dragonborn that also can channel the powers of eldritch magic and all that sort of stuff all together kind of character. You know, so that's a possibility. And I mean, I don't hate that. I actually would rather quite like to be a dragon-blooded half-orc sorcerer with the ability to, you know, channel eldritch energy. Who wears a Speedo. So the second place that you can go, which frequently is the first place people go when they actually are first starting to like make their first real character that doesn't come with like a pre-generated backstory or anything, is to stop right here. Right here. Yourself. Be you. You know, like just take some facet of your personality and make that your character. You know, like for someone like Gus, he's kind of like a mellow dude. So like, okay, so your character's gonna be a mellow dude. Or you go ahead and you take what you are and you subvert that. And so now instead of his character being a mellow dude, his character is a totally irate. There's not a good word I can say for this. I'm just gonna say totally not nice dude. All right? And he's like super energetic and all that sort of thing. So what that allows is for somebody to like explore a facet of their personality and then like express it on the paper. So like you can take something that's a background that you have. So like let's say you get a bad relationship with broccoli. Like you broccoli killed your mother. That's too dramatic. Something less dramatic than broccoli killed your mother. Broccoli got you kicked out of your house, right? And broccoli was like, dude, landlord, they skipped me on the rent, and so landlord, you go get them for the money, right? So now you in your real life you are upset with broccoli, right? So now you can use that to try to like express your anger, your angst, or that sort of thing. So like you can have your character have had like some past troubles where your character's gotten into like the wrong people, and your characters ended up having to owe money and things like that, and they've had a hard time and they're trying to work their way through it. Or you can go ahead and reverse it. Like your characters never had those problems. Your character doesn't know what it's like to be that. You know, and so you're now living this like wish fulfillment sort of thing of, you know, like what if I lived a life that didn't have this broccoli that screwed up my life. The freaking broccoli always making me late, making me poop when I don't want to poop, and then moving on. So like after thinking about you can now start thinking about, well, maybe inspiration from other people. Like how about like you take your best friend and you say, well, I'll take an aspect of them. So I think about one of my best friends, and she's very, 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 and I have one more very, like super passionate and super like into things. Like there's no such thing as something that she only kind of likes. It's either she loves it or she hates it, wants to puke on it. And so what I could do is I can make a character. I can base it on that facet, or I can then take like another part of another person's experience, and I can base a character in it. Like I can look at someone and I can think, hey, like that dude over there in his like really big fur coat, he looks like he's a member of the mob. Like, why do I think that? Why am I like considering that? What about that's bringing that up? And then I can explore that, and I can start like playing with what's my own mental stereotype, and like in exploring, why do I have that thought? Why is it that this guy who's like balding and he always wears this like very blonde colored giant fur coat, why do I think he's a member of the mob? Where's that come from? And where's that like what's that history and things like that? So just like I can use that and I can think about it, and I can consider like what can I do with a character, like why wow, like that could be my vampire character. Could be like that bald dude that always wears the fur coat, maybe he's like an old world vampire, and he like recently came into money. I kind of like that idea. So yeah, you could just like use people and that's that's another source of inspiration. And moving right along, whoosh. So after exploring the possibilities of just doing a random thing, or exploring inside yourself, or exploring inside of other people, or exploring your weird like stereotypical things that go inside your brain that you never realized you had an issue with. Oh, man, Jacomo. You can then start taking a look at books, like things that you read and the media that you consume. Like start thinking about characters. Like let's say you want to take a look at Great Expectations and Mrs. Havisham. Like that creepy old widow lady. I don't even think she was a widow. I think she was just a creepy old lady, and she was gonna get married and she didn't get married. But anyway, I know she lived in a big old house and she's all alone. She get a rotten wedding cake, so she kind of like Norma Desmond, except for instead of having a failed film career, she get a bad wedding cake. But anyway, yeah, you can think about like your favorite fictional characters, and you can put them into a role-playing game, and you can draw on the themes, the mood, and like all that sort of stuff that already exists in the written character. Like let's go ahead and take a few minutes, and we're gonna think about a few examples. So here we go. Example number 1. So we can like begin with the very easiest. Like this is Skeletor. He's like an evil dude, and he's got lots of problems. Like he's sort of a narcissist, and he's got lots of like he doesn't like people, he doesn't like things. I mean, he specifically says he doesn't want to feel good. He just wants to feel evil. And he's like always surrounded by buffoonery and things like that. So you can take Skeletor and you can easily make him into your own character. Like just take some of the moods and mannerisms of him. Like maybe he views all of the party members as buffoons, and he blames them for his shortcomings. But all the while, it's actually his own shortcomings that are creating the problems. Think about that. Or you could have the antithesis of Skeletor, where they just want to feel good. They just want to like good vibes all the time, and they don't want to deal with anything, but they still have to like frustratedly deal with people that aren't doing what they want to do. And you can like create a good hero arc out of being Skeletor. Like you can go from being this like sort of prickish jerk to being someone that actually cares. And he already comes like prefabricated with being a wizard and stuff. So, like he's a good place to go for like some kind of inspiration. So, number one, Skeletor. Or you could like look at something like comics and things, like this here Legend of Korra book that I get for free comic book day. Like you can take a look at Tenzin, and who's like a really staunchly traditional dude, and he's got like all this years of expectations that he's trying to live up to and all that sort of thing. Or you could be like Jinora, who's like she's super spiritual and very booky in that. Or like Iki, who's a bit more precocious. Or even Uncle Iroh, who's like super like very Zen Buddhist and all that sort of thing. Seriously, the possibilities are endless. But yeah, so like I said, the possibilities really are endless. Like you get a world of characters you can like draw inspiration from. And again, you can either embrace the character that's inspiring you, or you can go ahead and you can just chuck it to the wind and subvert it. You know? So so we looked at random stuff, we looked at inside, we looked at outside, we looked at media, and then we can now look at like ideas. Like just think of social ideas. Like if there's any sort of social problem or social issue, that there's always someone who's interested in it, and that can be a personality defining moment. But just try to remember to be tasteful about it, man. Like don't cross the line. Whatever you do, it's just a bad place to be when you are on the side of the line that nobody wants to be on. You know what I mean? You feel me? You got me? All right. So inside, outside, all that sort of thing. And then what you can do, you can also like put ideas together. So like let's do an idea exercise real quick where we have skeletons. So it's Skeletor and Tenzin together. So like you got this necromancer who's got this, he's also staunchly traditional. So like he's got this very stuck in the mud style of what he believes he should be. And so it's like maybe he was raised to be like the greatest necromancer the world's ever known. And now, like, because he surrounded himself by buffoonery, it's just not happening. So he's upset, and maybe he throws it all away. That's why he's joining this adventure party. Because, like, he had a whole little army of undead, and he screwed up trying to take over a town. And now he's embarrassed, and he's lost like his holdings and whatever, and now he's on the run from the authorities, right? So see that's how inspiration works. Is you just start like brainstorming 1,000,001 things, and you just write it down, you throw it on the wall, and you see what sticks. You just throw it on the wall and see what sticks. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's really for me inspiration in a nutshell. So let's like go ahead and make it more personal. As I sit down, I'm gonna tell you about my character that I'm working on for the vampire game. So the character I'm working on, he's gonna be based on The Rock, right? Now I like The Rock. I think The Rock is a handsome fellow. I think he's big and beefy. I wish I could be big and beefy like The Rock. But I just can't. I can't lift the weights like he does, right? So So anyway, so I want to be like the Rock, and so I had to think like for my character, what's that gonna mean? You know, like is he gonna just literally be an action movie star? Is he gonna be like one of the Rock's characters, or is he gonna be like the Rock in real life? And so I was like thinking to myself, like, what do I want him to be? And it turns out what I want is I want him to be like when I think about the Rock, I think about his smile, the way he smiles. You know, like I like that. I think that that's him in a nutshell. You know, it's that little cocky smile, little and he's got the big biceps and the big pectorals. That's the Rock to me, and the cool tattoo. All right, so I think to myself, I said, Giacomo self, what do you want to do with this character? So I want to have him be handsome. I want to have him be strong. I want to have him be super charismatic and jokey, right? So I want him to have all those things. And I want him to have a cool tattoo. And I want it to be part of his culture, right? So I don't know if I want to go like full on like he's Samoan, but maybe make him like Nordic or something, so like he's got like the runic tattoos, and he's all very Viking feeling, right? So that's maybe something I could do just to make him different, so it's not just the Rock. Nothing wrong with being just the Rock, if you know what I mean. But I'd like to be just not specifically the Rock, but I'm just taking inspiration from him. So I think that what I'll do is I'm going to have this big, hunky, let's see, he's going to be from the Scandinavian lands. He's going to be a Scandi person. So he's going to be a big, hunky Norwegian, right? So, and then I'm gonna give him a big, like, Viking tattoo, all covering his chest and down his arm, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. That's like the physical appearance. And the thing is, he's gonna look all this gruff, and stuff, and he's gonna have this very surly demeanor. Like, he looks at you and he's looking through you. He doesn't even think about you, because he's so focused and intense. And then he smiles, and you're like, oh man, he actually cares. He's actually got a thing, like he's got personality. But when he wants to, he just shuts that off, and he becomes cold. And because he's a vampire, that's exactly what it is he's gonna go from being like afflicted by the beast, where he's this intense monster, but then he struggles with that, and he's also this like very sweet man, right? I think that's pretty cool. I think that makes a pretty interesting character, and so that's what he's gonna be, and when he knows somebody, he's gonna be like this very jovial, very kind guy. And when he doesn't know somebody, he's gonna be a monster. Like he's just gonna look at them, and he's not gonna care. Give him that look. See how he likes it. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I think I'm gonna do. And because of that, so now I get a place to start. So because I know the system, I know the vampire the system, I can say, because I want him to be a big beefy dude, and I want him to be like a monster. Well, maybe make him gangrel, right? That way he can like do the animalism thing, and all that, and he can like grow claws and have the glowing eyes and all that. But maybe I could make him a bruja, So that's something I gotta think about. And then other things I gotta think about is just like, how does this impact the other players? How does this impact the world? How am I gonna play this, and how am I gonna think about it? And that's what our next video is gonna be. It's gonna be taking that very broad inspiration and making it simplified so that we can actually do it at the table. All right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna write down my backstory, and I'm gonna think real hard about it, And next video, I'm gonna talk about how I'm gonna simplify so that I can actually play this character, and people aren't gonna hate me at the table, and my DM's gonna be like, yes, that's a cool character, let's be him, and not like, oh, you're just a stereotypical monster, whatever, you know. All right, so all you gotta do is please like, comment, subscribe, share the video, ring the bell, do all those things, and stay tuned to the channel for lots more fun and excitement. All right, we'll catch you later. Bye.
When it comes to being friends, there's no friends like the friends of Jacomo.